Hi, welcome to Bond Bytes, the daily bond market highlights from INR bonds. I am Arjun Patsarthi, and in today's bond market highlights, a very significant event, as in that Indiabulls Housing Finance chooses not to exercise its call option on a perpetual bond that they issued in 2012 and which came up for call on the 28th of June 2022. Now, this is very significant and can send shockwaves to the market unless there is a better explanation on why they haven't called the bond. Just before that, the best bonds available for investors to avoid all kinds of events, such as how companies do not exercise call options for various reasons, is Quick Invest by INR bonds, because we understand all the risks of all the companies and rate the bonds accordingly in terms of a risk scale, which is proprietary to us. Investors take the best investment decisions with the most information, awareness, transparency in pricing, and the best in-app investment process. Download the Quick Invest by INR app now on iOS and Android.
It was a tough journey going from an intern to a senior professional. Now, to protect my savings against high inflation and grow my wealth, I invest in bonds with INR bonds. Download the INR bonds app to save better.
Coming back to the bond market, before we go to the Indiabulls event, the rupee again is trading at record lows, falling steadily, very close to 80. The equity markets are flat, and the Gsec yield is also flat, waiting for RBI to see what they will do in the market to protect the rupee, to protect the markets as well. Because if the rupee goes on a free fall, then there could be very severe repercussions on the government bond market and the fixed income market. Coming back to the corporate bonds, we saw Navi Finserv issue a one-year bond at 9.5% for bidding. SBI Cards, 10-year bonds, Fullerton 3-year bonds, and Tata Capital Financial Services and LIC Housing all are issuing bonds, 3-year bonds, all over 7.5% for very good companies. Now this is sounding very attractive. But coming back to Indiabulls, so Indiabulls Housing Finance Company, the bonds of Indiabulls Housing Finance Company has been trading at higher yields. 3-year bonds are trading at 11.5%, 4 and 5-year bonds over 13%. Clearly, the market is giving higher risk to Indiabulls bonds. And surprisingly, the perpetual bonds that they didn't call, they had sent a notification to the stock exchanges that they had paid interest on this bond, but they have chosen not to call this bond, that is, repay the investors on call date, which most of the companies that issue perpetual bonds do. But this also tells investors the risk of investing in perpetual bonds, because once this perpetual bond is not called, then there is it becomes in perpetuity, and investors will not know how to price the bond, even though the coupon can increase, and the bonds and all the other bonds of the issuer and all the other perpetual bonds trading in the market will also face a lot of trouble in terms of liquidity. Now, this particular bond is just a small issuance of rupees 100 billion or 100 crores. But the question is that whether how the market will react to this bond not being called, and the company has not really given any explanation of that. The market is waiting for that, and investors have to understand the risks of investing in bonds, especially in perpetual bonds, and the best place to understand risk, because INR bonds has been highlighting the risk in perpetual bonds since the time the first perpetual bonds launched in 2014, and most of the risks have actually turned up, which we have highlighted. And clearly, when a curated list of bonds on Quick Invest, we have highlighted such risks. Thank you very much for listening in, and do not forget to Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you've not done so already.